Alright guys, this is a long one, but also, perhaps, one of my most important videos that I've ever made. I mentioned on Twitter that I would upload something on my opinion about this whole mess, but it's taken me a couple of days to really get my thoughts together. As a refresher in the most unbiased way that I can, a little while ago, PewDiePie released a video in which he reacted to two guys that he had paid to hold up a sign that said, "Death to all Jews." He was making a point that this site, in which you can pay people to do literally anything, is stupid, but the situation blew up, and now there's been a lot of consequences regarding this decision, and the message he chose to have them say as a part of his point/joke. Now for my feelings on this. As a group of my viewers know, I've always been a fan of PewDiePie. I've watched him for who even knows how long now. I've made a really important decision, however, that we're going to refer to PewDiePie for the majority of this video as Felix. I'm doing this because A, I don't want to royally ruin his last name, and I'm not really sure I can pronounce it, and B, I feel that when we refer to him as PewDiePie, we dehumanize him, and people respond negatively immediately to the name PewDiePie versus Felix. I'm not talking about a non-human personality, I'm talking about Felix, and I'm also on his side. Felix made a poor decision. He hasn't run from this, and I will not protect that move, and I thought he messed up as a professional content creator. He made a mistake, and the repercussions, originally, involved a lot of backlash from his viewers and backlash toward the two individuals he hired, who received more hate than was bargained for. He released an apology video, and I figured the amount of hate he got from his audience, i.e., relatively more than usual, was basically all he'd get. That was about it. I disapproved, but other people have done way worse things than this on YouTube. Being a young adult is kind of all about messing up and learning from your mistakes, and making bad jokes. I also can't fault Disney or YouTube from backing out from behind him. As many of you may know, the hot news is that Felix's reality show was cancelled because of this stunt. And like I said, even he has not denied that this isn't realistic or even without probable cause. He's been pretty professional about all of this, honestly. Everyone messes something up in their career. The difference is, instead of just friends and family being privy to the mistakes, there's thousands and thousands of people there to see him do it, and somehow that means that he's going to be punished thousands of times more. I guess I can't really complain about that because that's just how it's always been, but for some reason when it comes to YouTubers, the media makes it their mission to absolutely demonize the creators involved, especially Felix. These articles demonize the fact that he makes millions off of his entertainment channel, which is weird, considering how much money other facets of media and entertainment make, yet there's no problem there. And every single article conveniently forgets to leave out how much money Felix donates to charity every year. They turn him into this hateable person and turn everyone who stands up for him into these trolls who are silenced because they're just PewDiePie fans. Unless you're speaking poorly about Felix, your words don't matter. And I get it, people love to hate something or someone. It's when everyone bands together because no matter what your politics, no matter what your religion, if you both hate something, screw everything else, you'll come together on that. Which is stupid, but it's where our entertainment is, and it's where we are. And that doesn't change out of nowhere. The real problem I have is the reaction this has gotten from other professional areas. Media and social personalities have suddenly spoken out against Felix in a gambit to gain some form of popularity and traction against the new enemy number one in entertainment, without doing any research into the subject. And I don't actually think it's doing what they think it's doing, i.e., taking away from Felix's attention and moving it toward them. On the contrary, people are giving Felix more attention than ever because of this stunt. There's a saying in entertainment: no publicity is bad publicity, or even no press is bad press. People are furious with him, sure, and his show is cancelled, sure, but he is still gaining money, and now at a much higher rate, at least for the next little while. Here's where my anger lies. Media is dying. Traditional media is dying. You can't tell me it isn't. We've gone from news and informative reporting on events in the world to a secondary form of entertainment. These TV news channels are all vying with each other for ratings and views, and this has gotten America into a really shitty state of affairs, where we have Donald Trump, a television personality, as our president. Saying nothing of his politics, that alone is indicative of what our media values above everything else. We were told here in California that there was no way Trump could win by the media. So guess what? He won. People believed it would be a landslide, so we had thousands of individuals voting for third parties because, I don't know, making a point or something. And then Trump won. I may just be speaking to the people who believed that media here, but it is our fault, and the fault of the media, for believing that stupid lie. Trump won. They said he wouldn't. We believed it like it was the word of God, and he won. Traditional media is doing what it has been doing recently, degrading itself to lie prone at our feet to give us the most outrageous version of whatever story they can dig up. And the kicker? We are still buying into it. We're still rolling over for these idiotic schemes and clickbait titles, and we aren't doing any research. We're taking titles meant to make us click at face value and acting like it's the most truthful, factual piece of evidence in existence. If I name this video PewDiePie is a neo-Nazi, there are bound to be people who are going to see the title of the video, never watch the video, and go running around screaming that Felix is a neo-Nazi because they saw it on YouTube. That's what the system is right now. Let me word it this way. In my cheating in Overwatch video, more people questioned my use of Weekeepeedeeuh than they did my use of reading images off the internet. Hell, more people questioned my pronunciation of Weekeepeedeeuh than they did my use of random images off the internet. Those images could be doctored, photoshopped, or even just blatantly made up, but more people questioned a site that now includes sources and reference links that you can click and actually research into than they did pulling shady images off of the internet. Not that I don't think those images aren't real or anything, but even I can't know for sure without spending a couple of hours hunting that exact forum and those exact threads down. Put blatantly, Weekeepeedeeuh with sources and references is less trustworthy than the opening title of a news article. Just let that sink in. Sources and facts and clickable, researchable links are less trustworthy than headlines. Some of these articles will trick you too. They'll put links to videos they got sketchy images from and say things like, look, here's the proof, and no one actually clicks those links. There's a link. It must be true, they'll think, and they won't check. That's what these articles thrive off of, tricking us. You must do your own research and your own learning. Apart from everything I've mentioned thus far, the part that really drove all of this home was the brief moment in which Felix mentions that J.K. Rowling commented on this, calling him a fascist.
J.K. Rowling is apparently not a fan of me.
Joanne Kathleen freaking Rowling. I looked this up too. The tweet is legit. The arguments are real. This really happened. And assuming she doesn't delete it, you can find it too. An author of my childhood, of Harry Potter, is now standing against someone I have watched grow and screw up and learn for years. Someone I idolized and even emulated in many ways. You know who I'm going to stand beside? Felix. That's right, I chose Felix over the opinion of J.K. Rowling. And the fact that someone I look up to so much bit into the headline bullshit without doing any research just hurts. It really, really sucks. Felix and Rowling are both humans, and as humans, everyone makes mistakes. But the biggest mistake here, I think, is not Felix's. Rowling went and posted on social media one article about fascism with Felix's face on it. And while Felix's followers have done the research, she refuses to. She'll go off of one article because it suits her attack and position on Felix, and because it increases activity and interaction. I don't know about you guys, but when I was in college, if I wrote a factual report, I wasn't allowed to use less than 5 articles, and they all had to be from reputable sources in MLA format. Where did that go? When did we suddenly decide that went out the window and started quoting random articles on the internet without fact-checking and researching the opposition? You could even use Wikipedia to get to reputable sources because they had references to and for everything. This is one of my major problems with social media right now. We're removing anyone who opposes us and keeping only the people who agree with us. I can tell you right now, my Facebook has several radical Republican friends. I have some religious friends and family that may disagree with my beliefs. I have friends from every walk of life, not always the same as mine. And do you know why? They question me. They make me research my beliefs and stances, and sometimes they show me that I might be wrong in some of the things I took for fact. What irritates me more than anything is the "I hope you're happy with who you voted for" statuses posted all over Facebook from people who removed all of their Republican friends and set their posts to private. Who are you posting to? All of the people reading your insulting speech are Democratic. You're not making a point, and you're not changing anything unless you let people challenge your views and your faith. Change doesn't happen by protesting against people who believe in the same thing as you. That's just surrounding yourself with people who will never disagree with you. which is incredibly harmful and egotistical. And that's what Rowling and so many other people have done. They've surrounded themselves with individuals who worship their words, never disagree with them, and are too afraid to point out that they're wrong. Half the people who tweeted against her started with, "I love you, but you need to research more." That's like saying, "Please don't hate me, but I disagree." Traditional media is dying, and instead of trying to evolve, they're devolving, turning into this reality show of who can insult the newest enemy number one the most. Ratings, 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 kids. If there isn't enough cleavage and wow factor, then it isn't going to sell. Who cares if it's true? Who cares about the hundreds of people working on Felix's show that are now all jobless? They're not important because they don't have names or faces. We got PewDiePie, guys! We took him down! Congratulations! Donuts for everyone! Let me shake your hand. Forget the how many views his videos are getting? I guess he's actually not down, huh? The internet and the media has gotten so obsessed with making PewDiePie public enemy number one that we forget what Felix represents. YouTube is a fledgling project as a new form of media and entertainment. It's the step forward in changing an old, tired, unchallenged entertainment industry. With an audience as big as Felix's, we have the opportunity for incredible amounts of analytics and data we can use to grow YouTube and make it a better source of entertainment with increased ease of access. YouTube Red grows with Felix's contributions, or at least it did, up until recently, and we had an opportunity to use his influence to make this beautiful platform better and better. It's not perfect. Lord knows it's not perfect, and it never has been. But how can we grow without analytics? Old media wants YouTube to crumble. We're endangering their fame and fortune because they're old hat. Increasingly, no one wants to watch some godlike figure on a runway when they can feel close to the more human YouTuber. That's what separates us from the Hollywood stars. Where actors, actresses, and comedians and reporters, yes, even reporters, are famous and untouchable gods, YouTubers are the more reachable dream. Not just anyone can make it in Hollywood, but literally anyone can be a YouTuber, and anyone can even be a successful YouTuber. Now, do I think Disney and YouTube should take him back? While I wish they could, it's not that easy. They were pushed into a corner by modern media and the Wall Street Journal, and they have to stick to their guns, or they'll be seen as backing a neo-Nazi, because if they do bring Felix back, I bet you the headlines will only read, "Disney welcomes back neo-Nazi with open arms," and I'll bet you $1,000 I don't have. Everyone will believe it. They won't read the article, which will likely say something like, "Turns out he's not a neo-Nazi, sorry PewDiePie," and everyone will just take that article heading as the truest fact they've ever read in history, straight from the mouth of God himself. As an aside, it's no secret that this isn't the first time Felix has been controversial. Look at South Park for just a moment, a show on which Felix has actually played a part. Literally. Their entire plot and episode breakdown is based on taking controversial arguments, turning it into an extremely controversial joke, and making a point with it. That is exactly what Felix has always done, made points and replicated that exact humor. But I guess it's not obvious if it's done by a human. So long as it's a cartoon character, it's okay to say the same thing. Wear the same outfits, make the same jokes. Where do we draw this line of what you can or can't say, and to what do we even apply it to? The writers of South Park are human. Why are they able to get away with it, but Felix is not? Excluding, of course, this particular joke, which was not in itself very clear, or even very good. And the fact that writers have editors and corporate eyes, and Felix... I think Felix learned an extremely important point from this on just how far he can take a joke. I think that the media turned a joke that is made by cartoons such as South Park or Family Guy and turned it into a special snowflake SJW propaganda war to push their own agenda, whether it be for or against it. I think what happened was absolutely freaking ridiculous, and that Felix is being treated as something less and more than human at the exact same time, if you can wrap your head around that. I think we're all being stupid freaking idiots because we've lost the ability to research, and we're literally being scammed and controlled and puppetized by ridiculous news articles. We're falling for everything, hook, line, and sinker, and reacting exactly how they want us to react. We are being controlled. If you aren't questioning the shit you read online at all times, 100% of the time, you are the problem. If you aren't questioning everything you hear on supposedly unbiased, completely 100% biased news media, you are the problem. If you have power as a personality or a celebrity and you're using that power to demonize someone without sufficient research and proof, you are the problem. I will not defend PewDiePie's actions exceptions in the joke that started all of this, but I will stand with Felix as a learning young adult thrown into a mixed media that has no backing from a dying media made up of ravenous sharks trying desperately to survive in a world where they're not special anymore. They're not all powerful, they're not superstars, and they're not entertaining. Hell, they were never supposed to be. They were supposed to do news reports. So to make use of an overused hashtag, I stand with PewDiePie. I stand with Felix, if only because he's a YouTuber and I'm a YouTuber, and while we may be on vastly different sides of scale and renown, YouTubers should stand with YouTubers. Unless you're a murderer and an actual neo-Nazi, then no, I don't stand with that.